Correct. Once again, good morning to all. So, in last session, we was discussed about several management like storage management, memory management, process management, those things. So, in this session, we are going to discussing about computing environments. So, already we know where we are using the operating system. Actually, the operating system is used in any computing devices like computers, laptops, any other machines. So that's why first of all now we know some basic things about whatever the different computing environments. So different types of computing environments. So coming to the first one, so generally we are using in which areas. So like some traditionally we are using at which areas of the operating system. So those are these general purpose traditional computing environments is basically used for general purpose whenever we want to performing the any general purpose applications. For that purpose basically we are using the traditional computing devices. So in this we are using some general purpose operating systems. Okay, right. So coming to this one, so actually these traditional computing environments are some standalone machines. So standalone purpose machines, that means the specific machines can be especially used for any specific purposes. So for example either ATMs, so those are also some computing devices. So though their purpose is fixed, so their functionality is for giving the money or checking the balance or either many statement. So in this kind of features only. So here but when actually these are the very capable devices to providing such services. But whenever we are combine these standalone pcs as some server or some workstation, so at that situation it those standalone pcs are those traditional machines can't provide services properly. So that is the one major drawback with these traditional pcs. So especially which environments or which situations we can prefer these traditional computing devices means, especially while we are going to providing any web portals. Like for example if we want to access any websites like the jntua.ac.in, so such kind of portals. So to provide such kind of information backgroundly or originally those are maintain some servers, those are maintain some servers to provide that particular services, either results or academics, any others. So at that situations we are using some traditional computing devices. And while we are going to accessing the data through networks, whenever we want to share whenever we want to access the data through the networks, at that situation also we are using these traditional pcs, traditional computing devices. And whenever we want to use wireless networks, that means through without any wired we want to accessing the network, at that situation also we are using these traditional pcs like our mobiles or laptops or any others. But whenever we are going to use these all devices in networks, especially we are used in networks, at that situation the major complexity is the security. So here whatever the data we are sharing through the such network, that particular data must be safe. So for that purpose we are using the some security. So for that purpose we are using some firewalls. So these firewalls are used to protecting the those computers, either that particular computer may be home purpose or any other purposes. So this firewall is responsible for protecting the such computers from the any attacks. So for that purpose here the major complexity or difficulty is the security. Okay, anyhow, so these are the some simple examples or some information about the traditional pcs simply. Now coming to the next category, mobile computing environment. I think all of you well known about this category of computing devices. So that is nothing but smartphones, either tablets, either tablets also. Already you well known about whatever the difference between smartphone, uh, tablet and phablet. Anyone can respond? Is there any difference between tablet and phablet and smartphone? So here the major thing is that depending upon their size. So here smartphone, after that tablet, after that tablet. So here smartphones are up to nowadays up to available up to 6 inches or 6.5 inches, and tablet means either 7 to 8 inches, and tablets is the from 8 to 10, 10.2 or 11 inches. So based on the screen size, we are dividing those portable device is either smartphone, either tablet or phablet. So in these devices we are using the, so in these type of devices we call as mobile computing environments. So now here we observe, is there any difference between mobile computing devices and traditional computing devices or any other computing devices? Means here is the first thing is the portability. So we can use that particular device at anywhere. So we can use in our home, we can use in journey, we can use in our office or college or anywhere. So that is the major difference between the normal computers and portable or mobile computers. So here, and one more variation among these mobile computing environments and normal computing environments is, here is the major variation is it was added by the some additional sensors like GPS and gyroscope. So with the help of these additional features, we can easily access any information related to the either maps or any other, if you want to track any other device, or if you want to know any specific area path. So such kind of things we can easily trace it with the help of GPS sensor. At the same way, we are also using gyroscope sensor in our mobile devices. So with the help of this one gyroscope sensor, it was very helpful to providing the augmented reality. Like I think somebody was using some AR headsets, sorry, headsets, na? Okay, AR devices. So with the help of these, we can enjoying the games like 3D games, such type of things. So for that purpose, that is additional feature in the mobile devices. And with the help of these mobile computing devices, we can accessing the data, or we can accessing the data without any connection. So that means we can easily access the wireless or cellular data networks. So with the help of this connectivity, we can easily access the data, or we can easily share the data. And now coming to the who leads these mobile computing environments means, either Apple and the Android. So these are the major leads of the leading groups of the mobile computing environments. Apple, that is iOS, and Google, that is Android. So these are the few details about the mobile computing environments. And next important thing is distributed computing environment. So here there is a small difference between traditional computing or normal computing to the distributed computing. So that is in distributed computing, here number of devices, like a number of computers or number of portable devices was formed as one group. So for example, just assume, so now we all are having almost laptops or any mobile, any computing devices like mobiles or any others. So if we are formed as a some network, we are formed as a some network and shares the data. We formed as a network and share the data throughout the network. We are sharing the data throughout the network. That shared data is not only owned by any specific user. That shared data is not only owned by any specific user. So such kind of environment is known as distributed computing. So very simple thing. Generally, computer is to accessing the to storing and retrieving the data from single memory location or single device only. అలా కాకుండా whenever we want to accessing the data from different peoples within that network, so that is nothing but distributed computing. So for example, coming to the any one live example like software development, like software project developments. So here while we are going to implement while we are going to developing any specific software, so that software is initially divided or integrated into, sorry, divided into several modules. So like as requirements analysis, the requirements testing, in this way productivity, so design, so these all things, so different modules. So those are implemented individually in design part will be implemented somewhere, SRS can be collected somewhere, and original code part will be implemented somewhere. So but finally those all are combined and formed as a single software. So that is a simple example what is meant by distributed computing. So here actually that entire thing is a single product or single software. So it was developed or processed by the different branches or different teams. So that's it. So here entire data or entire development of that particular software is not performed by the single user or single device. So those all are developed or those all are implemented at different stages, and different users was having different information about that particular device. So that is a simple example for the distributed computing. So that means by simply collection of separate or heterogeneous or system networks. So that is nothing but a distributed computing. So now we can observe some more details about the networks. What is meant by network already you know. So here actually network is a communication among two or more devices. So those devices may be anything, which may be mobiles or which may be laptops or which may be computers or any other. So in case we are establishing the communication among two or more computers, then we can say is that computer networks. So in case we are providing the network or sharing the communication among different heterogeneous networks, sorry, heterogeneous or autonomous systems. Autonomous or heterogeneous means nothing but individual systems. Then we can say is that that is some network. So in this manner, so that is the network. So here the major thing is whenever we formed as a network, for example we all are currently formed as a some network, either 60 peoples or 58 peoples, we all are formed as a some network. For which purpose? To share some information. Actually here I am sharing some information with you, you are accessing that particular information. So in this we entire thing can be treated as the some network. So our entire team can be treated as a some network. So in this process actually we are using which protocol to share the data among networks? For that purpose, basically we are using the TCP/IP protocol, transmission control protocol. TCP indicates the transmission control protocol. IP indicates the internet protocol. So you will discuss these things in computer networks in detail. So what is TCP, what is IP? So in this session just we discuss some brief information. So here TCP, transmission control protocol, is used in transport layer, and IP, internet protocol, it was used in network layer. So in our networks entire process, whatever the process involved to share or to send or to receive some information from one place to the another place, such entire process is divided into several layers, that is approximately 7 layers. Those are application layer, presentation layer, session layer, and then transport layer, network layer, data link layer, physical layer. These are the 7 layers. So in this, in transport layer we are using the TCP protocol, in network layer we are using the IP protocol. So that is the common protocol was used, or common reference was used in networks. So now we observe what are the different types of networks. So here based upon the uh, network range, that is the size, and range. So here size means nothing but number of devices or number of users, and range means how much distance. So based on these two factors, here networks are categorized into different sub network, different categories. Those are local area network, wide area network, metropolitan area network, and personal area network. So these are the different types of networks. So already we know what is meant by LAN, what is meant by WAN, what is meant by MAN, and what is meant by PAN. So simple thing, in our laboratories we are using the local area network. Now you are accessing online class with the help of some network. So actually you are connected with this class by using your own network, like Airtel. Somebody was using either Geo, somebody was using either Vi, so somebody was using either their own, that means any broadband service like SRNet, either ACT, either AP fiber. So but these different types of network peoples are accessing, commonly accessing this some information. So that is nothing but wide area network. That means combination of two or more networks. Wide area networks means combination or collection of two or more networks. Not only devices, two or more devices, connection between two or more devices is formed as the network. Two or more networks is formed as the WAN, wide area network. Those two or more networks is either one is the LAN, another one is also LAN. Either connection of two LANs is WAN, either collection of two metropolitan areas is WAN, either collection of two personal area networks is also WAN, wide area network. Either that's it, LAN and WAN. Now coming to the metropolitan area network. So here LAN is a network within some distance, like 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers. So like some building, within a building, within a campus. So such kind of networks is the LAN. And coming to the metropolitan area network, within the city, within the entire city, like Kavali, Nellore, Hyderabad. So such type of network is known as the metropolitan area network. Best example is your cable operator. So cable operator is the simple example for the metropolitan area network. So here cable operator is providing the services within some area, like within Kavali or within Nellore, in this manner. And coming to the next one, personal area network. So when very very simple example for personal area network is we are accessing the data through Bluetooth or your Wi-Fi hotspot. So these all are the simple examples for personal area networks. That means here personal area network is within less distance or within one square room. So within a room or within a very short distance, like within 5 meters or within 10 meters. So such kind of networks is known as the personal area network. So these are the different types of networks. And next, network, in this process, while we are going to using any service in the networks at that situation. So here to providing the such services through the networks, for that purpose also we are using this some operating system. So such operating system is known as the network operating system. So this is the responsible for providing the services among different networks or different systems. So for that purpose we are using the network operating systems. And next, one more computing environment is client server. So this is also very similar to the networking. So in this client server architecture, the major thing is minimum we are using the two nodes. One is the client node, another one is the server node. So here server node is always processing the data, and the client node is always requesting the some data. For example, if you want to browse something on Google, if you want to know some details about some specific one, so for that purpose we are simply going to our device and open the Chrome or any other browser. After that we can type simply Google. So within Google we can enter that particular keyword to know about that particular information. So in this process, we are the clients. We are the clients. Google is the server. So what is our requirement here? If you want to know something, we can simply send that particular request to the server. So now server was checking that particular information is available in the database or not. In case available, then immediately it was sent as the response to the client node. So this is the basic structure of the client server programming. So here we are using two types of client servers. One is the compute server systems and another one is the file server systems. So in compute server systems, multiple clients are accessing the data from single server. So that is just like some database. And file server system means it was providing the some interface from to the clients, for which purpose? To store and retrieve the files. For that purpose it was providing the some network or some interface. So that is nothing but file server system. So here we can observe, so this is the server. So this server is connected with these different client machines with the help of some network. So here this particular client can send request to the server. So that particular request can be processed by the server and finally result sent back to the client node. So in this manner. So this is the one more environment. And one more computing environment is the peer-to-peer. So this is very similar to the client server architecture. This is also very similar to the client server architecture, but the major variation, that is the major difference between client server architecture and peer-to-peer architecture is peer-to-peer environment is only the variation is in client server architecture or in client server environment, only server was storing the data. Only server was storing the data and the client doesn't store any information, just always accessing the data from the server node only. But coming to the peer-to-peer networks or peer-to-peer environment, here every node can be treated as a client node as well as server node. For example, in this session at present, so I am the server, you are the client, you all are the clients. What is your responsibility or your role here? Just listening the class only. So in case if you are having any doubt, then raise that particular doubt. So that is your responsibility. Whatever the information these 60 peoples or these 50 peoples was accessed currently, so that entire information was shared by the single person, that is the server, shared by the single node, that is the server node. So that is a client server architecture. Coming to the peer to peer, so here every node, every node, in case there are 5 nodes, in case there are 10 nodes, then every node can be worked as either client or server. So based on requirement, in case you have some data, some other person was asking that particular data, at that time you are the server. In case you are required some data, at that time you are the client. So in this way here, every node was treated as client and server. That is nothing but peer to peer. That is nothing but peer to peer computing environment. And main important thing, next one is the computing environments, especially in virtualization, especially in the virtualization. So till now we was observed different types of computing environments. In those environments we are using some common things like either server, either client, either network. So in these all things, those are used any specific operating system only. In client server architecture we are using some specific operating system, either in normal general purpose traditional we are using our own our operating systems like Windows or Ubuntu or any other. But coming to the virtuality, our virtualization, that means in case you are having Apple, you are having Apple device like Mac OS. So you are having Apple laptop, so then you can only use Mac OS only, you can only use Mac OS only. So here if you want to access some additional features other than the Mac OS, so is it possible? Actually it was not possible. So that means if we are using the Windows operating system, then we can access only Windows features only. We are not able to accessing whatever the features provided by the Mac OS, those features was not able to access it from the our laptops, our Windows based operating system laptops. But whenever we want to access some additional features like either Mac OS or any other operating system. So such features provided by the virtualization. So that is nothing but virtualization. Actually, our device was having any specific operating system, for example, Windows operating system. If we want to access either Mac OS features or Linux OS features, so that kind of activities, that kind of services was not provided by the any operating system. So at that situation, we can use that particular operating system virtually. We can use that particular operating system as virtually, and then we can access any service. So that is nothing but virtualization. One simple example is, in case we are using the Windows 10, if you want to access some features like Ubuntu, what are the features provided by the Ubuntu, so that kind of multi operating systems was not supported by the our devices. To getting that type of information, we are using the virtual operating systems. In this our device, we are installing the some software like virtual box or virtual OS, and then we can install any other operating system on that particular software, and then we can accessing the any service. So that is nothing but virtualization. So in this VMM, so virtual machine manager, so which is the responsible for providing the virtualization services, already discussed. So here we can observe how virtualization was works. Actually, for example, this is the one device and this is the another device. So here we are using the single OS only. So this is the process, these all are the processes. These all processes are interfaced with the hardware by using some software, that is the kernel operating system. So in case we are using the virtualization concept, so this single hardware or this unique hardware can be accessed by the different operating systems virtually, kernel 1, kernel 2, kernel 3. So this kernel was provided by the virtual manager 1, this kernel was provided by the virtual manager 2, this kernel was provided by the virtual manager 3. So in this manner, so at a time we can access the multiple services from the same hardware. So that is nothing but virtualization. So simple example is Arkle virtual box. So if we are using the Windows operating system, for example, you are doing some project on Siri, just assume మీరు ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ బిలాంగ్స్ టు ది ఐదర్ సిరి వాయిస్ అసిస్టెంట్. Actually Siri voice assistant was worked on Apple based OS, that is iOS, sorry, Mac or iOS. But actually you are using Windows OS. Is it possible to develop Siri voice assistant in our Windows platform? Actually it was not possible. So but we can't able to bear new device as Mac OS, Mac device, that means either Apple laptops, we can't able to purchase them. So it was costly process. So what is the best alternate? We can use one software. That software can support any other operating system, any other operating system. So for that purpose we are using the some software, that is virtual operating system, or yeah, VMware or virtual operating systems. So with the help of this, we can install any other operating systems on our devices without any cost. So that is the simple examples for the virtualization. So these are the some details about the virtualization. And coming to the one more computing environment, very important thing, cloud computing. Very important thing is the cloud computing. So here this cloud computing is also very similar to the virtualization. So and a very simple thing is, for example, we are having some common hardware environment, some common hardware equipment. కామన్ హార్డ్వేర్ ఎక్విప్మెంట్ని మల్టిపుల్ పర్సన్స్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని మల్టిపుల్ సర్వీసెస్ని ప్రొవైడ్ చేసుకోగలగాలి. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది క్లౌడ్ కంప్యూటింగ్. ఇక్కడ మనం యూజ్ చేసే హార్డ్వేర్ సేమ్, but whatever the services accessed from the that particular hardware components is different types of services. That is the basic theme of the cloud computing. So here virtualization also very simple thing, very similar thing. So same hardware ni different operating systems use చేయడం కోసం we are using the virtualization. So here cloud computing is also same hardware equipment can be accessed for multiple services purpose, not only for single service, not only for single specific users. So that particular hardware equipment can be used by the so many number of users. That is the major thing of the cloud computing thing. So here it can deliver computing solutions or storage or any other apps throughout the any user throughout the network. So how is it possible means here we are using the virtualization. So logically we are using some virtualization. That virtualization is the responsible for providing the several functionalities for the several users, different users. So for example either Amazon ce2 sorry ec2. So that is the one cloud computing environment, cloud platform. So it can provide services to the some millions of users. A particular cloud server అనేది can provide services to the some millions of users. ఆ millions of users కి provide చేయడానికి it was using only few thousands of servers only, few thousands of servers, billions of virtual machines. With the combination of this it can providing the service some millions of services to the millions or trillions of services to the users. So here these cloud computing was providing different types of services. Those are different types. Those are public cloud services, private cloud services, hybrid cloud services. Coming to the first one, public cloud means that particular services can be available or can be used for any user. Any user can use that particular service without paying. So that is nothing but public cloud. And private cloud, so that particular infrastructure or that particular service can be accessed by only one specific organization, only that particular organization. So that is nothing but private cloud. Hybrid cloud, so which is a simply combination of the both public cloud and private cloud. So in this in cloud computing environment we are using the different services. Those are software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. So that means some specific software can be provided as the service to the multiple users. Some specific platform can be providing the services to the multiple users. Some specific infrastructure, that means hardware, can be providing the services to the multiple users. So these are the main services, different types of services was involved in the cloud computing. So this is the functionality of the cloud computing. So in this diagram we can clearly observe how cloud computing can work. So we are interacting with those cloud service with some internet. So here number of users was trying to accessing that particular cloud service by using the internet connectivity. So in this we are using some firewall to protect the such data, to protect such data from the any viruses or any attacks. So in this here after checking that particular request, in case that particular request was not having any viruses or any threats, then it was forwarding that particular request to the load balancer. So here this load balancer is the responsible for balancing the load to the multiple devices or multiple hardware equipment like storage or operating system or any service or any software. These all things can be balanced, so with the help of load balancer. So that means for example there are two storages, just assume S1 and then S2. S1 is the storage one and S2 is the another storage. In case currently a huge number of vast number of users are accessing the data from storage one. At that situation here load balancer is the responsible for, if any new user was trying to accessing the data, then it was directing to the storage 2. So in this manner. So those are the few details about the cloud computing services. And next one, coming to the real-time embedded systems. Real-time embedded systems. So these are also very similar to the computers, but those services can be provided at real time. That means whenever user wants to any specific service at that situation, at that particular time, operating system is responsible for providing that particular service. So here to providing these real-time embedded systems, it was depending on the different aspects, like it was especially used for any specific purpose or any special purpose, either any limited purpose or real-time OS. So here these real-time embedded systems was including the having the some number of operating systems or some number of platforms. These all things can be providing the services to the any user, any type of service. That's it. And so these are the few details about the computing environments. And coming to the one more concept, open source operating systems. So already we was well known about what is meant by open source. So already we know open source software. So here open source software means so that particular software can be used by any user without paying the money. So we know some number of services, some number of softwares as open source, like in case VLC player, we can pay any amount for VLC player. No, either we are using any okay, I'm used this no. Okay, like Python. So this is also open source software. Either Java, that is also open platform. In this way, some number of softwares are we are using the open source softwares. That means without paying any money, we can use that particular service. At the same way here, operating systems, some operating systems is also providedly free of cost to the some number of users. So especially GNU based operating systems, GNU based operating system, that means Linux or Unix, those related operating systems are especially available for freely available for any user. So by freely accessing that particular operating system, and you can develop your own operating system based on this or any others. That's it. So these are the some details about the open source management system, sorry, open source operating systems. So and here previously we was discussed virtualization, especially we are using the VMware. So this VMware is also open source, we can use without any charges. So these are the some details about the open source operating systems. For example, either Windows, is it open source? No. Why? Because we are paying some amount for using the Windows services during some period, either per year or for 10 years or for 5 years, in this manner, in this way. So these are the some details about the open source operating systems. That's it. In next session we can discuss OS function